So in the last class, we were discussing about Palo Alto next generation firewall, right? And I told you about SP3 architecture, how Palo Alto maintains its performance, right? How it will be able to process the packet and how the packet will be forwarded through the firewall, right? So it uses single pass parallel processing architecture, right? Which enables the firewall to provide high throughput and you can say low latency network security so that the firewall can inspect the traffic for different inspection policies, right? Like it will be able to perform application identification, right? Application ID can be used to identify the application traffic. And if you want to block it, then you can create an access rule to block it. We will see these things. Okay. After that, we can also configure content-aware filtering, user identification, right? So we were discussing all these things yesterday, and all these policies, content scanning will be done at once using single pass software. And there is another component called parallel processing hardware, right? This parallel processing hardware is responsible to make sure that single pass software runs fast. Okay. Because in the end, the single pass software is going to use parallel processing hardware to process all the packets and everything, do everything, right? Now, today we will discuss about Palo Alto firewall interface type. Okay. Yesterday, I created a lab and I was showing you that how can you initialize Palo Alto firewall, how can you configure it, right? So we'll do it. But for now, you can say if I talk about Palo Alto interface type, see wherever you are going to connect this next generation firewall with the network, you need to configure its interfaces, right? Or you have to use its interfaces to connect the device with other network devices. So you need to know how many types of interfaces are there and how can we configure them. Okay, clear. So if I talk about interface type, here you can configure the interface in layer 3 mode, then in layer 2 mode, then virtual wire. Okay, after that, you can say HA interfaces, or before HA, you can write tap mode and HA mode interfaces. Okay. These are the types of interfaces which can be configured on Palo Alto firewall. Okay. Clear. Now, when you are going to connect a firewall in layer 3 mode, layer 3, or you can say when you are going to configure firewall interfaces in layer 3 mode, then you need to define an IP address on them, right? You need to enable the interface so that that interface can be working, can be operational, right? After that, you need to configure routing because when you are configuring the firewall interfaces in layer 3 mode, it means they will be able to perform routing of the traffic, right? That particular firewall will be able to create communication between two different networks also. Okay. So to do this, all to do these all the things on the Palo Alto firewall, we need to use different subnets on every firewall layer 3 इंटरफेस राइट जो भी आप फायरवॉल के लेयर 3 इंटरफेसेस कॉन्फ़िगर करोगे उन सब पे आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा डिफरेंट सबनेट का आईपी एड्रेस असाइन करना पड़ेगा राइट ओके दिस इज कॉल्ड लेयर 3 मोड आर यू गेटिंग तो व्हेनेवर जब भी आप कोई भी एक इंटरफेस कॉन्फ़िगर करोगे आपको डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा कि ये इंटरफेस किस टाइप का है राइट ओके now on the Palo Alto firewall you will find you can say if I talk about the configuration you will find physical interfaces right
सर एक क्वेश्चन था।
यस।
अब जो इंटरफेस रहेंगे इसमें, वो इथरनेट ही होते हैं, फाइबर भी होते हैं ना? बट ये
नहीं, गीगाबिट ईथरनेट इंटरफेस मिलेगा आपको इसमें।
गीगाबिट इथरनेट रहेगा,
यस।
कॉपर पोर्ट ही रहेगा इसमें।
यस यस।
और तो फिर ये मतलब उन्हीं पोर्ट्स में ही एचए बनेगा, उन्हीं में ही टैब बनेगा?
हाँ, एच ए पोर्ट बिल्कुल उन्हीं में ही बनेगा। एच ए के लिए वैसे हम लोग डेडिकेटेड पोर्ट्स भी यूज कर सकते हैं। कुछ फायरवॉल होते हैं जो हार्डवेयर फायरवॉल आते हैं ना, उनमें
हम्म।
एच ए के लिए डेडिकेटेड पोर्ट्स होते हैं, एच ए 1 एच ए 2। तो आप
मैं
उनको
वही कह रहा
यूज
हूँ
कर
कि
लो।
अलग से जो एसएफटी टाइप का पोर्ट होता है।
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल। अगर देखो किसी होता है, किसी किसी डिवाइस में आपको नहीं भी मिलेगा एच ए पोर्ट, ठीक है, अगर नहीं होता है तो आप डायरेक्ट उसको ईथरनेट गीगाबिट ईथरनेट पोर्ट्स पे एच ए कॉन्फ़िगर कर सकते हो। कंट्रोल लिंक, डेटा लिंक, सारी चीजें।
तो सेम पोर्ट को यूज करना पड़ेगा इसमें, है ना?
यस।
ठीक।
ओके। So on Palo Alto firewall, you will find two types of interfaces. First one is physical interface, and the second one is logical interface. So the firewall supports two types of media, like you were asking, copper and fiber optic, that can send and receive traffic at a different transmission rate. Okay. So you can configure the interface types in different modes, like here I am telling you, right? You can make it layer 3, layer 2, or HA interface also, layer virtual wire interface also, right? After that, we have logical interfaces, sorry, not ports, logical interfaces. These logical interfaces will include VLAN interface, okay? VLAN interface, loopback interface, tunnel interface, okay? And SD-WAN interfaces, okay? Right? So in logical interfaces, you can find a different type of interfaces like VLAN interfaces. If you are using layer 2 mode, then you can use VLAN interfaces on the firewall. Okay. If you want to use the firewall tunnel interface for VPN connectivity, then you can configure a tunnel interface. You can also use another logical interface, which is called loopback interface, right? If you want to use a loopback interface, you can create it on Palo Alto firewall. तो वो कौन से होते हैं? लॉजिकल इंटरफेसेस होते हैं, ठीक है, यहाँ पे आप लिख लो ब्रैकेट में, VLAN interfaces, then tunnel interfaces, and loopback interface. Okay. Okay, if I talk about physical interfaces, then you will find the copper, you will find the interfaces which can support copper media and fiber optic media or cables. Okay. So we will configure these interfaces. Now let's discuss about these types, layer 3 mode, layer 2 mode, right? And then we will see how can we configure a firewall in the network. Okay. Number of websites confirmed 0824 Clear. So first of all, we have layer 3 mode. So for layer 3 mode, you can say that in layer 3 deployment or in a layer 3 deployment, let's write it here. In a layer 3 deployment, the firewall routes the traffic between the firewall routes the traffic between multiple ports, multiple interfaces from one network to another network, right? From one network to another network. Okay. We need to assign IP address on the interface, IP address subnet mask, right? You can write it like this. On the interface and configure routing. Okay. So that it can route the traffic. So that it can route the traffic. Okay. Apart from this, you can say that in L3 mode, all the features will be supported. Okay. Like you will be able to configure all the security features like app ID. Okay. Then content ID, user ID, and VPN also. You will be able to configure site-to-site VPN, remote access VPN. Okay. Clear. You will be able to configure dynamic routing, right? See, it is not about only IPv4 or right. In layer 3, it will be IPv4 or IPv6 deployment, both. Okay. For layer 3 interfaces, we need to configure virtual routers. Okay. Virtual routers. Virtual router is used to perform routing for the assigned interfaces. Okay. For the assigned interfaces. After that, we have layer 2 mode, right? In layer 2 mode, the firewall will provide switching, means it will not be, you don't need to assign any IP address or something. Okay. So here you can say in layer 2 interface mode deployment, the firewall performs switching between two or more interfaces. Okay, between two or more interfaces. It takes forwarding decision based on destination MAC address of the frame. Okay, or packet. Okay. Right. We can configure with VLANs. We can configure layer 2 interfaces with VLANs for traffic and policy separation among groups. Among groups. Okay. Clear. After this, we have virtual wire. Right. Virtual wire interface. A virtual wire deployment is used to install the firewall transparently in a network segment by binding two firewall ports or interfaces together. Okay. Clear. You can say using virtual wire. Using virtual wire interfaces or deployment, sorry. You in or you can say we can install we can install a firewall transparently a firewall transparently in an existing network. In an existing network. Right. By binding two firewall interfaces together. Okay, together. The virtual wire logically, you can say this, logically connects the two interfaces. The virtual wire logically connects the two interfaces. Connects the two interfaces together. Okay. So virtual wire is internal to the firewall. Okay. Internal to the firewall. For these two interfaces, the firewall is considered as bump in the wire. Okay. So we don't need any IP address to be configured on the interfaces, just simply assign two interfaces into the virtual wire, and you can use only two interfaces within a virtual wire. Okay. After this, we have tap mode. Here you can write it like this. No IP configuration is required to be changed in the network, right? After this, we have tap mode. So for tap mode, you can say tap mode is used, or we can configure tap mode when we just want to monitor the traffic using the firewall. Okay. Okay. We can use the tap mode configuration when we just want to monitor the traffic or we want to passively monitor the traffic in the network. Okay. The firewall will not be connected in line to the traffic, and it will not be able to take preventive action. Okay. So it will not be able to take preventive actions. Clear? We need to send a copy of the traffic from the switch or core switch to firewall using a span switch port analyzer. Okay, clear. This is called tap mode. After this, we have HA mode. Okay, here just for now, just write this. HA interfaces are used in high availability. Okay, so we will discuss about these interfaces in high availability itself. Okay, मैं आपको ये HA में बताऊंगा. ठीक है. So now if you are configuring the firewall interfaces in layer 3 mode, देखो मैं आपको deployment भी बता देता हूँ कैसे होगा. This is your firewall. For example, here it is connecting with a switch, right, in internal network, and in external network, it is connecting with an ISP. Okay. And behind this switch, you can say here you are connecting some internal endpoints like your PC, right? Or other devices like server. Let's show a server here. Okay. Clear. Now, if you are configuring the firewall interfaces in layer 3 mode, then here you need to define a different subnet, right? Mostly a private IPv4 subnet. And on this interface, you will define another subnet IP address, mostly a public IPv4 IP address, right? Like this. This is your Palo Alto firewall. Okay. And this is a layer 2 or layer 3 switch, you can say. This is server 1. Okay. And this is ISP. So if you have this type of environment, then this is layer 3 mode, right? Here I can write layer 3 mode. I have to configure routing and everything for this to work, right? Are you getting this?
तो सर फिर
This is clear.
राउटर लगता है अलग से फिर?
राउटर क्यों लगाना, मतलब समझा
नहीं,
नहीं.
अभी ये फायरवॉल लगा तो राउटर लगाना पड़ेगा
हाँ,
ये भी।
वैसे कोई रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं, यहाँ पे कोई राउटर या लेयर 3 स्विच लगाते हैं, राइट?
हाँ।
So you can use that option also. In that case, on outside interface, you will assign a private IP subnet because now it is internal, right?
हम्म।
Okay.
तो वैन राउटर वगैरह जो लगता है इसमें,
हाँ, वो आप कनेक्ट कर सकते हो.
नहीं, बगैर उसके भी काम चल जाएगा ना?
हाँ, बगैर उसके भी चल जाएगा. आप डायरेक्ट फायरवॉल से राउटिंग करवाओ ना, राउटिंग कर लेता है फायरवॉल, राइट? बट मोस्टली आप देखोगे कि वहाँ पे एक लेयर 3 स्विच लगा होता है. ठीक है.
वैन राउटर जिसको बोलते हैं।
हाँ. अब देखो यहाँ पे मैंने सेम ले लिया, अब इसको थोड़ा सा क्लियर कर लेते हैं. Now if I talk about layer 2 mode, right? Then in layer 2 mode, you can do one thing. In layer 2 mode, here you don't need to configure different subnet IP address, and do one thing rather than using this ISP, just show an internal router here. Okay. This is R1, for example. And further, this R1 is connected with ISP maybe. Okay. Now here we are using the interfaces in layer 2 mode, right? So we can configure VLANs on the Palo Alto firewall, VLAN interfaces also, but we don't need to configure IP addresses on the interfaces of the firewall, right? Okay. This is layer 2 mode. Okay. Then we have virtual wire, right? This is for virtual wire. Virtual wire is also used when we want to integrate a firewall in an existing network. Let's say your network was already running, right? And now you want to, you can say, insert the firewall in this existing network. Maybe this R1 is connected with the internet. So you can configure these two firewall interfaces, this one and this one, in a virtual wire. Okay. Let's say this is week 0 by 0 and this is week 0 by 1. Now you will create a virtual wire, maybe V wire, just a name, okay, V wire. And you will assign these two interfaces in this virtual wire, okay. This is called virtual wire deployment. In case of layer 2 interfaces, you can assign VLAN and you can create VLAN interfaces on the Palo Alto firewall, right? In virtual wire also, you don't need any IP address or routing to be configured on Palo Alto firewall. Okay. Are you getting this, guys? This is your virtual wire type. After this, we have tap mode, right? For tap mode, you can say that here, let's say you are connecting a switch. Wait, this one. You are connecting a switch. Okay. And further, here you are connecting a router, for example. Okay. With this switch, other internal switches are connected, right? You can say here we have another switch, or you can say it is your access layer switch. And with this switch, some endpoints are connected. Okay. Now, if you want to connect firewall in this network, then here you can connect the firewall. Okay. This is called tap mode. This is, for example, core switch or just a switch 1. Okay. And this is also a switch, LAN switch, switch 2. Okay. And this is your core router, for example. Here, this firewall is connected in tap mode. So the traffic will come from internal PC, right? This traffic will be coming to the switch. Now switch will send a copy of this traffic to this firewall. So that firewall can inspect it. Okay. And further it will be sent to destination. Okay. It is like this. This is called tap mode. Are you getting this?
तो हम वैसे किस मोड में लगाते हैं सर नॉर्मली हम लोग?
Layer 3. Mostly you will find it in layer 3 mode and in virtual wire mode also. Okay. But most popular is layer 3. Because when you are configuring it in layer 3 mode, then you will be able to, you can say, configure all the features. Like you will be able to configure dynamic routing, first of all, right? You will be able to create communication between different networks. After that, you will be able to configure VPN. You will be able to configure port, right? Port means you will be able to configure port address translation, PAT actually. dynamic IP and port translation, right? You can configure them. Okay. So layer 3 deployment is most popular. After that, if you have a network which is already running, अगर आपके पास कोई नेटवर्क है जो पहले से ही रन कर रहा है, कोई साइट है जो पहले से ही चल रही है, राइट, बट नाउ यू वांट टू इंसर्ट द फायरवॉल इन दैट एग्जिस्टिंग टोपोलॉजी, एग्जिस्टिंग नेटवर्क, and you don't want to change any IP configuration for the network, right? You don't want to change any routing configuration in the network. So what you can do, rather than connecting the firewall in layer 3 mode, you can connect the firewall in virtual wire mode. Okay. Virtual wire mode. In virtual wire mode, no routing and no switching will be performed. Okay. मतलब वहां पे राउटिंग स्विचिंग यूज नहीं होता. वर्चुअल वायर में क्या होगी, आप दो इंटरफेसेस को वर्चुअल वायर में कनेक्ट कर दोगे, जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे दिखाया है डायग्राम में,
तो रहेगा तो
राइट.
सर फिजिकली कनेक्ट तो फिजिकली होगा ना?
क्या?
राउटर और स्विच तो फिजिकली कनेक्ट होंगे ना फायरवॉल से?
Yes, these are physically connected. Yes, yes. This virtual wire will be created on the firewall internally, right? ये virtual wire तो हम लोग firewall पे create करते हैं और उसमें दो interfaces को आप allocate कर दोगे. जो interfaces आप allocate करोगे, these interfaces will be able to communicate with each other without any routing or switching. Just packet will be received on one interface, it will be forwarded out of the other interface. Okay.
बाकी पॉलिसीज वगैरह तो वो चल जाएंगी.
Yes, yes. But on virtual wire implementation and in layer 2 mode implementation, you will not be able to configure dynamic routing. You will not be able to configure PAT, port address translation, right?
हम्म.
Some of the limitations are there. Some of the features are not supported. Okay.
बट उसके लिए राउटर यूज कर रहे हैं ना सर?
Yes, yes.
ठीक.
बट वीपीएन हम लोग यहाँ पे जब रिमोट एक्सेस वीपीएन कॉन्फ़िगर करते हैं, ठीक है, तो उसके लिए लेयर 3 इंटरफेस सेपरेटली यूज कर लेते हैं. बट यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू डू राउटिंग फॉर वर्चुअल वायर इंटरफेस. इफ यू वांट यू कैन configure it in layer 3 mode. That's not a big challenge, right?
नहीं वो
Okay.
सर एक्चुअली जैसे फॉर्टिनेट वगैरह में भी छोटे छोटे राउटर आते हैं. वो तो
हम्म.
नॉर्मली ऐसे यूज होता है, मतलब वो जो फायर इस फॉर्टिनेट के जो फायरवॉल आते हैं
हाँ
वो छोटे छोटे दो दो पोर्ट के भी आते हैं, मतलब नॉर्मली लगा लेते हैं जो
हाँ
ऐसे
हाँ.
इंटरनेट पे. तो वो तो इसी मोड में काम करता होगा ना, वर्चुअल वायर मोड में?
हाँ वर्चुअल वायर में ही करता होगा. 48 को उतना आइडिया नहीं है मुझे. मैंने मतलब NSE 4 तो पढ़ाया है, बट अब जो आप डिवाइस बता रहे हो सकता है उसमें नॉन मैनेजेबल है कि मैनेजेबल है वो.
नहीं मैनेजमेंट ही है, बट सिंपली लगा देते हैं इसको भी, चलो काम हो जाएगा.
अच्छा. 40 स्विच तो नहीं है?
कुछ कुछ भी हो सकता है एक्चुअली.
हाँ 40 गेट सिर्फ फायरवॉल ही नहीं होता है, 40 नेट
स्विच भी
में भी
आते हैं,
अलग
हाँ
अलग
स्विच आते
डिवाइसेस
हैं.
हैं.
आते हैं.
40 स्विच आते हैं. वो हो सकता है वो.
हम्म.
क्योंकि 40 गेट फायरवॉल है तो फिर आपको उसे कॉन्फ़िगर करना ही पड़ेगा, है ना. और फिर आप लेयर 3 करते हो या ट्रांसमिटेंट करते हो, इट्स अप टू यू. Clear. So these are the interface types. HA interfaces, we will discuss about them separately. Okay. First of all, high availability is used when we want to provide redundancy. Let's say I have a network in which I am connecting two different Palo Alto firewall so that we can provide redundancy, right? And high availability, you can say. Here we have an ISP. And both of these firewalls are connected like this.
हाँ बोलो. हाँ.
In internal network, we are connecting a switch, right?
अच्छा. हाँ ठीक है, कल से आ जाएगा. फुल एक्सेस करा दो. हाँ.
And here you will
वो क्यों
connect
पैसे
HA
देंगे?
interfaces.
हाँ वो नहीं करना चाह रहे होंगे ना. हाँ तो बोलो ऐसा
You can configure HA1
हाँ.
and HA2.
हम्म.
This is PA1
हम्म.
and this is PA2.
बात पैसे की नहीं ना, पहले ही कर देते बात. वो उनकी कंपनी कर रही है ऐसा, तो हम क्या करें उसमें? तो सही नहीं रहता ना. हम्म. हम्म.
Okay, so this is how you can connect HA interface. Clear? So we will learn about them. In HA, we have two types of interfaces. Actually, three types of interfaces. Okay. HA1, HA2, and HA1 and HA2 backup interfaces. We will learn about them separately. Okay.
सर मुझे एक बार बताइए, जैसे वर्चुअल वायर में ये पैकेट कैसे सेंड होता है सर? मतलब जैसे हम एक ही में पोर्ट ऐड कर देते हैं।
Yes, the packet will be received on one interface, and in virtual wire there can be only two interfaces maximum. Okay, so it will be received from one interface and it will be sent out of the other interface.
अरे, तो डायनेमिक राउटिंग वाटिंग नहीं करेंगे तो सर पैकेट कैसे बाहर जाएगा इसमें फायरवॉल से?
तो वो राउटर की तरह वर्क ही नहीं कर रहा।
मतलब राउटर की
राउटर की
तरफ
तरह
वर्क।
तो तब वर्क करेगा ना जब उस पे इंटरफेस पे आईपी होगा, कुछ होगा। अपने इंटरफेस पे तो आईपी दे नहीं रखा।
अच्छा, मतलब कि वर्चुअल वायर में हम L2 मतलब पैकेट आगे से सेंड करेगा, पीछे से फिर आगे फॉरवर्ड कर देगा, राइट?
हाँ बस। अब देखो यहाँ पे जैसे L3 बोर्ड में यहाँ दो अलग अलग सबनेट लिए।
हाँ सर।
वर्चुअल वायर में इसकी रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, आप एक सबनेट ले लो। जैसे 10.1.1.0 ही ले लो, /24। ठीक है।
ठीक है सर।
स्विच पे आपने डाल दिया .1 10.1.1.1 और R1 पे डालो आप .10।
ठीक है सर।
राइट, तो बीच में कोई आईपी का फंडा ही नहीं है। .1 से पैकेट आएगा, मान के चलो यहाँ अगर लैन में आप .11 यूज कर रहे हो तो .11 से पैकेट आएगा .10 के लिए। राइट,
ठीक है सर।
समझ में आ रहा है? तो
ठीक है
यहाँ
सर।
पे आपको सिर्फ एक ही सबनेट यूज कर रहा है। जैसे ये ले लिया आपने 10.1.1.0/24। Okay. On the firewall, it is not required to configure any IP address or something. Routing or switching, nothing. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's go to the lab. Okay, guys. So this is our lab. Okay. Here you can see we are using a Palo Alto firewall VM. It is a virtual machine. Okay. And here you can find this is the subnet 10.1.1.0. We are running it in internal network. 10.1.3.0. We are running it in internal network between Windows PC and router. Wait, someone is calling me. Okay, guys. So this is our topology. Here we can run 10.1.10.0 subnet. Okay. This is 10.1.1.0, 10.1.10.0. This is 101.1.0. Okay. And this is your internal server connected in DMZ. This is called DMZ, demilitarized zone. Okay. See, this segment will be inside, right? Let's edit this. This is inside, and this will be your outside because it is connected with external network, right? Okay, this is your internet, real internet cloud. On this router R2, on the E0/0 interface, we will get the IP address and internet connectivity. Okay, so we are using DSCP. This is our user, internal user. Internal user. This is management PC, right? So these are the devices connected in lab. This is our AD server, Active Directory server. We will use it later. Okay. And these links are connected for connectivity purpose. ओके, ये मैं आपको आगे बताऊंगा। जैसे कि एक लिंक कनेक्टेड है, राइट, एक लिंक ये कनेक्टेड है, तो ये कनेक्टिविटी पर्पस के लिए है जस्ट। ओके, so let's take the access of Palo Alto firewall. Click on the device. It will open. See, it is asking to log in. So username admin and password. Okay, just wait for some time. Just wait. It will be starting all of its processes. So just wait for some time. This management PC is also started, right? Right, this is your management PC. So this management PC is connected with this switch, right? And we are going to configure this subnet IP 150.1.7.0. Okay. Go to its network adapter settings. Open network and sharing center. Here you can go to change adapter options. And here we have this Ethernet network, Ethernet. Okay. Right click on this, add it. Sorry, go to properties. And define IP address. For example, and gateway is 150.1.7.1. Here you can put DNS primary and secondary. Okay. See this IP address 150.1.7.1. It is gateway. So we will configure this IP address on router 2 E0 by 2 interface. Okay. It will be the gateway IP address for all these devices connected in management zone. Okay. Click on OK. Click on close. So we have configured the interface of this management PC, right? After this, let's go to Palo Alto firewall again. And now try to log in. Username admin and password is also admin. Okay. Okay, wait. It is still starting its processes. Do one thing. You can configure this router R2 right now. So R2 is started, right? So let's log in. You know about Cisco router CLI, right? This is router 2. It is connected with Palo Alto firewall. It is connected with management switch, right? and it is also connected with the internet. So let's configure these three interfaces on this router. Interface E0 by 0, no shutdown. Right, on this router, E0 by 0 is connected with outside. So IP address DSCP. Interface E0 by 1. It is connected with firewall. We can give 101.1.1. Interface E0 by 2. It is connected with management switch. 150.1.7.1. Okay. Now this router is able to get the IP address from DSCP. You can check its IP configuration. On E0 by 0, we are getting the IP address via DSCP. So this router is getting the IP address from the internet, right? So it will be able to ping the internet resources like 8.8.8, Google DNS. It is reachable, right? So this router is having internet connectivity. If you want to ping any domain name, then you can define IP name server 8.8.8 and IP domain lookup and do ping google.com. It is reachable. Do ping youtube.com, right? Okay. Okay, so we are able to connect with the internet from this router too. And tell me one thing, if I want to provide this internet connectivity to this LAN user, to this server, or in this topology, then what I need to do on router 2? Without, I have internet connectivity on router 2 on my core router, right? And now I want to provide this internet connectivity to all of my internal endpoints, network devices. So what I need to do on router 2?
Net.
Any idea? NAT, right?
Yeah.
And to provide internet connectivity, we are going to configure port address translation, right?
Yes.
So I'm just simply configuring PAT on this router to IP access list extended NACL permit IP any, right? We are matching any source IP, any destination IP. Okay. And we are going to translate it. IP net inside source list NACL interface E0 by 0 into outside interface IP address, right? Interface E0 by 0 IP net outside and interface range E0 by 1-2 IP net inside. Right? Any doubt in this configuration?
No, take it.
So this router will be able to provide internet connectivity in this topology, right? It is finished. Its configuration is done. Now let's go to the firewall again and try to log in. Username admin, password admin. Now it is asking old password. See, we are accessing this Palo Alto firewall for the first time, right? So it does not have any configuration. So it is asking to change the old password. So you just enter the old password admin and enter the new password. Here we are changing the password, right? Confirm the new password and password is changed. Okay. So on Palo Alto firewall, default management IP address is there. I told you yesterday. Default username password is also there, right?
उसको चेंज करेंगे सर
Yes, I have changed the password already.
IP192 जो बताया था आपने.
Yes, I will change that. Default IP is 192.168.1/24. Default username admin and default पासवर्ड. कल मैंने शायद आपको पासवर्ड गलत बता दिया गलती से.
एडमिन
ठीक
बोलो.
है, एडमिन ही बताया था.
हाँ.
फिर ठीक है, यही होता है. ओके, मुझे लगा मैंने आपको एडमिन 123 बता दिया.
मैंने कैपिटल ए लिखा था उसमें.
हाँ, बस वो गलत है फिर. ठीक है, ये एडमिन है पासवर्ड. ओके, clear. So this is the management related configuration which is already there. So here you can check we have changed. See, when I was logging for the first time, it was asking username, login, right? I put admin, then it was asking password. After that, I put admin password. Now it was asking to change my old password. So it is asking the old password. I put admin and then it was asking for a new password. Then I defined a new password for this admin account. Okay. You can change it from the GUI also, but when you are going to log in for the first time on the CLI, it will ask you to change this password immediately because by default everyone knows the password. Admin is username, admin is password, right? So it is not secure to use default password. So when you are going to use when you are going to log in for the first time, at that time only it will ask you to change the default password. Okay, and you can see we are able to log in and we are able to get the CLI. Now here in this picture its visual is not clear, right? इसको मैं zoom in भी नहीं कर सकता हूँ ज़्यादा. Let me check. That's it. Okay. But what I will do after configuring the management IP address, right? I will take SSH access of this Palo Alto firewall using its management interface IP address on this management PC. Okay. For a better view of CLI. Okay. Okay. So this is operational mode. Okay, see, this CLI is not giving a better view, right? तो मैं क्या करूँगा? ये management PC से firewall का SSH access ले लूँगा. Okay, but by default its IP address is 192.168.1.1. We need to change it, right? Now on the CLI, when you will log in, you will land in operational mode. This mode is called operational mode. In this operational mode, you can run only the show commands and operational commands. Okay, you can press tab to get all the possible commands. Okay, here you cannot do any configuration. If you want to do configuration, you have to go to global configuration mode or configuration mode. आपको कहाँ जाना पड़ेगा? Configuration mode में जाना पड़ेगा. Okay, clear.
भी इनेबल करेंगे
Sorry.
सिस्को में करता है इसमें क्या करेंगे?
नहीं, इसमें इनेबल नहीं करना पड़ता आपको. आप इस ऑपरेशनल मोड से डायरेक्ट कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मोड में चले जाओगे.
कैसे?
ओके, उसके लिए आपको कॉन्फ़िगर कमांड टाइप करनी होती है. कॉन्फ़िगर. ओके. Apart from this, here you will find all the operational commands like find, exit, difference, delete, debug, right? Clear or quit, request. ये सारी क्या है? Operational commands and show commands are also there. Like you can check show interface management. Okay, you can run show interface and then all like this. Here you can run show command, show routing protocol OSPF neighbor. अगर आप OSPF neighbor चेक करना चाहते हो तो ये कमांड चलाओगे. show routing protocol BGP summary. You will run this command for BGP neighborship. Okay, तो हम लोग चेक करेंगे इनको. But for now we want to change the management interface configuration, right? So we need to go to configuration mode. Just run the command configure and you can see the mode is changed, right?
ठीक.
This is configuration mode. From this configuration mode, you can make changes in the configuration of Palo Alto firewall. Okay. Now we want to configure management IP address and management IP address, subnet mask, all these things are the part of system configuration, right? ये किस में आते हैं? System configuration में ही तो आते हैं because they are related to Palo Alto firewall internally, right?
Yes.
So here you need to run a command set. Okay, you can define the configuration using set command. After set, you will use device config, set device configuration for system By default, this Palo Alto firewall management interface is configured to get the IP address from DSCP also. मतलब dynamic configuration define होती है, right? But if we want to configure all these management related settings manually, then we have to make the mode of this management configuration static. Okay, सबसे पहले आपको mode change करना है, system type static. Set device config system type static. It means you are going to use all the system configuration which is defined statically or manually. Okay, and now you can change the management IP address. So here you will run the command set device config system and then IP address. Here, for example, I am giving 150.1.7.15. Then netmask 255.255.255.0. Then default gateway for management interface 150.1.7.1. Okay. Then DNS server, DNS setting, server primary. It is 8.8.8. Secondary 1.1.1 like this. Okay. So you need to run this command. Sorry.
नॉर्मल डीएनएस ये डालता है ना?
ये गूगल डीएनएस है, इंटरनेट पे अवेलेबल है, अदरवाइज आप अपने नेटवर्क का जो भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का डीएनएस सर्वर है उसको यूज कर सकते हो. ओके, so here you can see set device config system IP address, then I configured IP address 150.1.7.50. It is the management IP address of Palo Alto firewall. Then netmask /24 default gateway, I have configured 150.1.7.1 is as a default gateway IP address which is configured on R2 E0/2 interface. And then DNS setting.
इंटरफेस तो नहीं डाला था हमने, कैसे?
नहीं, ये सिस्टम पे जा रही है ना, तो इसका मतलब है सीधे मैनेजमेंट
राउटर का ही
इंटरफेस
है
पे.
ये? मतलब ये
सॉरी,
फायरवॉल का ही है पूरा?
यस यस यस, ये सिस्टम कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है, मतलब ये मैनेजमेंट इंटरफेस की कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है.
और इसमें अगर इंटरफेस पे अलग अलग देना होगा तो फिर?
नहीं नहीं, ये तो अलग बात होगी ना, अभी तो मैं आपको सिर्फ मैनेजमेंट इंटरफेस बता रहा हूँ, राइट?
सब मैनेजमेंट जो
मैनेजमेंट
इसके
इंटरफेस,
ग्राफिकल के लिए यूआई?
यस. एक बार आप इसका मैनेजमेंट एक्सेस ले लोगे, उसके बाद
हम्म।
जीयूआई से आप ये सारे इंटरफेसेस इंडिपेंडेंटली कॉन्फ़िगर कर सकते हो, राइट?
ठीक है।
तो अभी आपको सिर्फ यहाँ सीएलआई से सिर्फ आपको मैनेजमेंट इंटरफेस को कॉन्फ़िगर करना सीखना है बस. Okay, no data interfaces will be configured via CLI, no policies will be configured via CLI, no routing will be configured via CLI, nothing. We will do all the configuration from the GUI. CLI will be used for verification and troubleshooting only. Okay. So here we have defined the Palo Alto firewall management interface, IP address, subnet mask, and other settings, right? So these settings are not applied. Let's say I want to change host name. So I will run a command set device config system host name. Okay, and I will define PA VM. PA VM is already configured. Okay, so let's configure PAFW. PA for Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, ये मैंने होस्ट नेम दे दिया. अब देखो होस्ट नेम मैंने कॉन्फ़िगर कर दिया है, बट ये अप्लाई नहीं हुआ. अभी भी क्या है, PAVM है, राइट? इसका मतलब जो भी हम कॉन्फ़िगरेशन चेंजेस कर रहे हैं वो अभी अप्लाई नहीं हो रही, बिकॉज हियर वी नीड टू कमिट द चेंजेस. After defining the configuration, you need to commit the configuration so that it can be applied. Okay, तो आपको क्या करना है, commit, enter. Now it will apply and save all this configuration on Palo Alto firewall management interface. Okay, and this host name will also be configured. Clear? So its job is going on. Just wait. Okay, now it is committed, and you can see the host name is changed. Right? Exit. Now you can check show interface management. It is showing this configuration, right? The changes are applied.
होस्ट नेम से भी हो जाएगा ना फिर ये लॉगिन?
क्या?
होस्ट नेम से भी लॉगिन हो जाएगा ना?
होस्ट नेम से क्यों लॉगिन होगा?
नहीं, मतलब
होस्ट
आईपी
नेम तो सिर्फ आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए यूज होता है ना।
डोमेन नेम, अगर डोमेन नेम का नहीं होता ना ऑप्शन इसमें?
डोमेन नेम आप डिफाइन कर सकते हो अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अकॉर्डिंग।
अच्छा।
यस। ओके, नाउ लेट्स मूव फर्दर। सो इट्स मैनेजमेंट आईपी एड्रेस इज कॉन्फ़िगर्ड। So now we can go to the management PC, right? This is your management PC. Do one thing for this management PC. Let me change the resolution. Okay, screen resolution for a better view of GUI. ये ले लो. This is good. Keep changes and let's increase the size of this window. Okay, now it is better, right? So you can open any browser. We configured its network adapter already, right? Let's check. You can open ncpa.cpl, go to network adapter settings. This browser is started and disable this network adapter once. We configured the IP address, verify it, go to status, details. Yes, it is 100. Do one thing, disable it and enable it. See, in the management network, we are connecting this switch. On this switch, nothing is configured. Okay, let's see if there is anything configured. On this switch, nothing is configured. No VLANs are defined, so it is working based on its default configuration. Okay. It is a Cisco switch, normal Cisco switch. Yeah, now it is connected in the network. Okay. The management PC is connected in the network. Okay. And you can try to ping the Palo Alto firewall. Go to CMD, means command prompt. And from here, you can run command ping. And IP address of Palo Alto firewall management interface 150.1.7.50. This was the IP address, I think, right? And you can see it is reachable. And this management PC is also able to reach the internet. If you want to reach the internet, you can reach, right? See, this is your management PC. It is connected with the switch. Further switch is connected with the router, right? And it is providing the internet connectivity. It is like
जो
this.
इंटरनेट पे गया, मतलब जो पिंग किया,
Yes.
वो राउटर के थ्रू गया होगा ना? अभी तो इसके
Yes,
थ्रू
yes.
में गया होगा ना फायरवॉल के
स्विच
थ्रू?
और राउटर के थ्रू. ये मैनेजमेंट डोमेन है, ठीक है? ये अलग जोन है, आउट ऑफ बैंड मैनेजमेंट नेटवर्क है ये, ठीक है? जो यूजर है वो अपना यहाँ कनेक्टेड है इंटरनल जोन में, इनसाइड में. We will start it once the Palo Alto firewall is configured. Okay,
ठीक।
clear? This is your out of band management network. Okay. So let's try to access Palo Alto firewall GUI using HTTPS and put the management IP address 150.1.7.50. Palo Alto firewall is giving a self-signed certificate. Okay. And this certificate is not trusted by my management PC. So click on advanced and click on accept the risk and continue. And here you can configure username admin, password admin. Sorry, क्लोज कर दो, गलत पासवर्ड डाल दिया मैंने. because I changed the default password, right? If you remember. Otherwise वो टाइम लेता रहता, रीलोड करता रहता उसको. Okay. I changed the password, so I need to enter the new password. Now we are able to log in, right? It is creating administrative session. Just wait. See, we are able to take GUI access of this Palo Alto firewall, right? This is Pan OS 10.1.0. This is operating system version. Okay. Okay, guys. So this is the GUI. So we took using HTTPS. Now, if you want to take remote access CLI of this Palo Alto firewall, then you can use this management PC, right? And you can use this management IP address also. So from this management PC, let's open this putty application, right? And here define the IP address 150.1.7.50 and select SSH, right? Enter, click on yes, login as admin, username admin, and this is the password.
अगर यूजर नेम चेंज करना हो तो क्या करेंगे?
क्या?
यूजर नेम चेंज करना हो तो
Then you have to create a new user. Okay, I will show you. Yes, आपको नया यूजर बनाना पड़ेगा GUI से. ठीक है, ये देखो CLI आ गया Palo Alto firewall का. यहाँ से आप शो इंटरफेस मैनेजमेंट चेक कर सकते हो, right? It will show you management interface configuration, duplex and the speed, everything, right? Okay, guys, this is how you can access the Palo Alto firewall, GUI and remote access CLI. Both are enabled by default. Okay. If you want to change the user names, right, you can go to device tab. यहाँ device tab पे जाओ, देखो ये सारी main tabs हैं जहाँ से आप कॉन्फ़िगरेशन डिफाइन करोगे. जब आप एक मेन टैब पे क्लिक करते हो तो बहुत सारी सब टैब्स खुल जाती है, देखो, है ना? तो इनके हेल्प से आप सारी कॉन्फ़िगरेशन करते हो. जैसे यूजर नेम चेंज करना है तो डिवाइस टैब में जाओगे आप, यहाँ पे देखो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स, यहाँ पे ये एडमिन डिफाइंड है और ये क्या है, सुपर यूजर है कि नहीं। तो इसको आप चेंज कर दो यहाँ से, या इसको डिलीट करके नया बना लो। ये सेलेक्ट कर लो, यहाँ पहले एक नया बना लो, फिर इसको डिलीट कर दो, राइट। यू कैन रीसेट द पासवर्ड ऑल्सो, एवरीथिंग यू कैन डू हियर, ओके। अभी एडमिन अकाउंट है, इसको आप डिलीट करके दूसरा ही बनाओगे। एडिट करने से कोई फायदा नहीं, यूजर नेम भी चेंज होगा। यहाँ से आप कोई भी नया यूजर बना लो, राइट, और इसको सुपर यूजर बना दो, तो एडमिन अकाउंट बन जाएगा, नया एडमिन अकाउंट है कि नहीं। ओके, clear. So this is how you can take remote access CLI and GUI of the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, clear guys. Any doubt till now?
नो सर।
After this, we can configure its interfaces, right? अब देखो जो ये interfaces connected है. For now, we are going to configure them in layer 3 mode because for every subnet, I am showing a different network IP address, right? For every segment, you can say I am showing a different subnet IP address. Okay, clear guys. So let's go to the GUI. Now you can see these are all main tabs. You will see this dashboard tab here. It will show you the entire dashboard of the device, in which it will show you general information. Okay, like its device name, PAFW, management IP, subnet mask, gateway, IPv6 address if it is configured, its model number, right? PAVM. Okay, then VM core, VM memory, and license, everything is showing. The platform, VM mode, KVM. You can deploy Palo Alto firewall in KVM hypervisors in Microsoft Hyper-V or Linux KVM, like I told you, and VMware ESXi server or in the public cloud also. So it depends. Okay. And then here it will show you logged in admins. कौन से admin ने login कर रखा है, right? So here, this is your console user, this is your remote user, and this is your web user, right? Okay. Then here it will show you data logs, system logs, configuration logs. Okay. तो हम लोग ये सारी चीजें देखेंगे। आगे आप देखोगे ये एप्लीकेशन कमांड सेंटर होता है, एप्लीकेशन कमांड सेंटर. It will give the information about the user's traffic, which user is using which application traffic and other things, right? Visibility information will be provided here. But अब अभी के लिए कोई ट्रैफिक नहीं जा रहा है, तो it is showing no data, right? Then monitor tab is there. In this monitor tab, you will be able to find all the logs and reports for the traffic which is going through the firewall. Okay, तो यहाँ देखो आपको ट्रैफिक लॉग्स दिखेंगे, ठीक है, थ्रेट लॉग्स, यूआरएल फिल्टरिंग लॉग्स, राइट, डिक्रिप्शन लॉग्स, सिस्टम लॉग्स, alarms, right, user identification logs, global protect logs. So these are all the logs. Whenever any of these policies or features will be used on the Palo Alto firewall, the firewall will generate a log. Okay. Clear. So this is your monitor tab. Here it will also show you session browser so that you can check your session table. Okay. Then you can configure policies. This is policies tab. You can configure security policy, NAT policy, decryption policy, and QoS policy, right? All these policies can be configured. Apart from this, you can go to objects tab. In objects tab, see, whenever you are going to configure policies on the next generation firewall, whenever you are going to configure policies on the next generation firewall, you need to call different elements, different parameters like source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, protocol, service, URL, application, right? Many things needs to be called like files also, file type, जो भी आप मैच करना चाहते हो. So these matching parameters are you can say are called in your security policy using the objects. So here you will find address object, port object, service object, application object, right? Different objects are there. So these objects are the elements which will be used in the policy to define a certain parameter. अगर आप एक आईपी एड्रेस एक पॉलिसी में कॉल करना चाहते हो तो आप एक एड्रेस ऑब्जेक्ट बना सकते हो. अगर आप एक सर्विस किसी पॉलिसी में कॉल करना चाहते हो आप पोर्ट ऑब्जेक्ट बना सकते हो. अगर आप एक यूआरएल किसी पॉलिसी में कॉल करना चाहते हो आप यूआरएल ऑब्जेक्ट बना सकते हो, राइट? ओके. After that, we have this network tab, and this network tab is related to all the network connectivity settings like interface configuration, routing configuration, virtual wire, VLAN, IPsec tunnels, means connectivity, right? Global protect options are there, DSCP configuration, then VPN configuration, right? So these are all the features which are related to connectivity, network connectivity. These are Ethernet interfaces, physical interfaces, right? And after that, we have VLAN interface, loopback interface, tunnel interfaces, and SD-WAN logical interface to connect with SD-WAN overlay network. Okay, clear. And then we have device tab. This device tab will show you all the configuration or options for the Palo Alto firewall itself. जैसे कि अगर आप Palo Alto firewall के लिए नया एडमिन यूजर क्रिएट करना चाहते हो या कुछ आप L1 लेवल के यूजर बना रहे हो, कुछ L2 लेवल के यूजर बना रहे हो, so that they can log in and they can do different types of configuration on the Palo Alto firewall, then you can use this device tab. Okay, so in this device tab you will define all the configuration which is related to the Palo Alto firewall itself. अगर आप Palo Alto firewall के लिए कोई सर्टिफिकेट जनरेट करना चाहते हो, अगर आप Palo Alto firewall के लिए हाई अवेलेबिलिटी कॉन्फ़िगर करना चाहते हो, राइट, रेस्पॉन्स पेजेस डिफाइन करना चाहते हो या मैनेजमेंट रिलेटेड सर्विसेज को कॉन्फ़िगर करना चाहते हो जैसे रेडियस, टेकैक्स, एसएनएमपी, सिसलॉग, एलडैप, राइट, देन यू कैन यूज दिस डिवाइस टैब. So in the device tab, you will see all the configurations and settings which are related to Palo Alto device itself, right? Okay. And then here you can see the commit button. Whenever you will make any changes in the configuration, then you need to click on this commit button so that that configuration should be applied. अगर आप कुछ भी configuration में change करोगे तो आपको क्या करना है, उस change को apply भी तो करना है, तभी तो वो change configure हो पाएगा firewall पे. तो उसके लिए हमें क्या करना होता है, commit, right? Then here you will see the configuration lock. Like if any user wants to lock its configuration, so it can be used. Okay. Then this is to take, wait. Yeah, here you can save changes, reverse changes. Okay. It's up to you. Then you can search option. So these are the main tabs in Palo Alto Firewall GUI. Commit is very important. अगर आपने कुछ भी कॉन्फ़िगर किया है और उसको कमिट नहीं किया तो दैट चेंज विल नॉट बी अप्लाइड. ओके. जैसे आपने कोई मान के चलो यहाँ नेटवर्क टैब में आप गए और आपने एक इंटरफेस कॉन्फ़िगर कर दिया, फॉर एग्जांपल E1/1, वेट इट इज लोडिंग, इंटरफेस टेबल इज बिग. ओके. Go to Ethernet. So if you want to configure this E1/1, तो आप इस पे IP, वर्चुअल राउटर, सिक्योरिटी जोन, सबनेट मास्क, ये सब चीजें डिफाइन करोगे और उसके बाद आपको इसको क्लिक करके सेव कर देना है और देन you will click on commit button so that that change will be applied. Okay. Any doubt till now? So we will configure firewall interfaces and routing tomorrow in tomorrow class. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will share your lab access to madam. Okay, she will share maybe tomorrow. She will be able to share. मैं मैडम को दे दूंगा अभी इवनिंग में. ठीक है.